This year is ending, and most people will carry the same habits, the same excuses, and the same weaknesses straight into the new year. 2026 is not coming to save you, it is coming to expose you. This audiobook is about becoming your best version, not slowly, not someday, but deliberately and dangerously. If you enter 2026 with the same mindset, you will repeat the same failures. If you enter it disciplined, focused, and ruthless with your time, you will separate yourself permanently. This is not motivation. This is a warning and a blueprint. Chapter 1. End the year with brutal self-honesty before you talk about becoming your best version in 2026. You must face an uncomfortable truth. The version of you that failed this year did not fail because of luck, people, or circumstances. It failed because of decisions. Most people end the year emotionally, not honestly. They comfort themselves with excuses. They blame the system. They blame timing. They blame others. But they never put themselves on trial. Brutal self-honesty means you stop protecting your ego and start examining your actions. You don't ask, "What happened to me?" You ask, "What did I repeatedly do or refuse to do?" Because progress begins the moment excuses end. High performers don't emotionally close a year. They audit it. They look at their habits, their discipline, their consistency, and their follow-through. They measure effort against results and tell themselves the truth, even when it hurts. If you didn't get stronger, you avoided discomfort. If you didn't grow financially, you avoided skill building or responsibility. If your relationships stayed weak, you avoided difficult conversations. This is not self-hatred. This is self-leadership. Comfort keeps you the same. Confrontation changes you. What you must do now is simple but rare. Write down where you were lazy, where you procrastinated, where you quit early, and where you chose pleasure over progress. And just as important, you must stop doing one dangerous thing immediately. Stop rewriting your past to protect your pride. The past is data, not a courtroom for excuses. When you confront reality without emotion, you gain power over it. Remember this and repeat it until it becomes part of your identity. What you don't confront, you repeat. End this year by telling yourself the truth, because only then can you step into the new year with clarity instead of illusion. You have faced yourself. Now you must act. And action begins when you stop waiting. You've confronted the past. Now let's destroy the excuse that keeps most people stuck before they even begin. Chapter 2. Stop waiting for the right time. Waiting for the right time is the most socially accepted form of self-sabotage. It sounds mature. It sounds patient. It sounds responsible. But in reality, it is fear wearing a polite mask. The new year does not create discipline. A new calendar does not change your behavior. Only decisions do. If discipline arrived with January, everyone would be successful by February. But they're not. Because time does not change people, pressure and commitment do. Look closely at high performers and you'll notice something uncomfortable. They never wait for permission from the calendar. They start before January. They train before motivation arrives. They prepare while others are still planning. That is why they are ahead before the year even begins. The person who starts now is already stronger than the person who waits for perfect conditions. Perfect timing is a myth invented by the unprepared to delay responsibility. Here's what you must stop doing immediately. Stop telling yourself you'll begin when life slows down, when you feel ready, when motivation appears, or when circumstances improve. Readiness follows action, not the other way around. Motivation is not the engine, it is the exhaust. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates belief. Every day you wait, you reinforce a dangerous habit, hesitation. And hesitation, repeated long enough, becomes your identity. Understand this clearly and repeat it until it cuts through your excuses. Timing is an excuse dressed as patience. People who win decide early, move fast, and adjust later. They don't wait to feel confident. They act until confidence is forced to catch up. Your transformation into your best version in 2026 begins the moment you stop negotiating with yourself and start executing without emotional approval. Decide today, not emotionally, structurally. Pick one behavior you will execute daily, regardless of mood, because once the decision is locked in, the calendar becomes irrelevant. You have stopped waiting. Now, you must remove what silently pulls you backward every day. You chose action over delay. Now let's talk about the habits that are quietly destroying your future. Chapter 3. Cut the habits that are quietly killing you. Most people don't ruin their lives with one big decision. They ruin them slowly, quietly, and politely through small daily habits they refuse to question. The danger is not obvious. It feels normal. Late nights feel harmless. Endless scrolling feels relaxing. Inconsistent routines feel flexible, but flexibility without structure becomes weakness, and weakness repeated daily becomes destiny. Small habits do more damage than big mistakes, because they operate unnoticed, day after day, until your potential is already buried. Understand this clearly. Your habits are not neutral. Every habit is either building you or breaking you. Every late night steals energy from tomorrow. Every hour of dopamine scrolling trains your brain to avoid effort. Every inconsistent morning weakens your self-trust. You don't lose discipline all at once. You leak it. And the worst part is that these habits feel good in the moment, while quietly stealing your future in the background. High performers are not superhuman. They are selective. They guard their routines because they understand a simple truth. Environment and habits shape behavior automatically. They don't rely on willpower. They design systems that remove temptation. They sleep when others stay entertained. They train focus while others chase stimulation. This is not restriction. It is precision. What you must do now is ruthless, but simple. Identify the 3 habits that drain your energy the most. Not 10, not everything, just 3. Then remove or restrict them aggressively. Earlier sleep, limited screen time, fixed routines. And here is what you must stop doing immediately. Stop lying to yourself by calling destructive habits balance or reward. A reward that weakens you is a bribe, not a benefit. Repeat this until it becomes non-negotiable. Your habits vote for your future every day. If you don't like the direction your life is moving, change the habits casting the votes. Transformation is not dramatic. It is disciplined repetition. You don't need a new personality. You need better defaults. You have cut what weakens you. Now it's time to build what defines you. You removed the poison. Now let's talk about constructing the identity that will carry you through 2026. Chapter 4. Build an identity. Not just goals. Goals are temporary. Identity is permanent. Most people live their lives chasing outcomes without ever changing who they are. They say they want success, health, focus, or confidence, but they continue to behave like the same undisciplined person. That is why goals expire. They either get achieved and forgotten, or they fail and get abandoned. Identity, on the other hand, compounds. When you change how you see yourself, your behavior follows automatically. Understand this clearly. The strongest version of you is not goal-driven. It is identity-driven. Saying I want success is weak because it leaves room for negotiation. Saying I am disciplined removes the debate entirely. A disciplined person does not ask how they feel before acting. They act because that is who they are. This is why identity outlasts motivation and survives pressure. High performers don't wait for results to validate their behavior. They reverse the process. They decide who they are first. Then they behave in alignment with that decision until the results have no choice but to appear. They don't say, when I succeed, I'll be consistent. They say, I am consistent, therefore I will succeed. This is not positive thinking, this is behavioral alignment. Here is what you must do starting now. Choose 3 identity statements that define your best version. Not wishes, definitions. I am disciplined. I am focused. I finish what I start. Then prove them daily with small, non-negotiable actions. Identity is not built through affirmation. It is built through evidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your identity strengthens. Every time you break one, it weakens. And here is what you must stop doing immediately. Stop waiting for external results to give you permission to act like your future self. Act like the person before the results arrive. That is the only order that works. The world responds to who you consistently show up as, not who you hope to become. You have removed bad habits, and now you've chosen who you are. But identity is tested under pressure, not comfort. You've defined yourself. Now let's talk about the daily discomfort required to make that identity real. Chapter 5. Learn to do hard things daily. Your best version is not built on days when you feel inspired. It is built on days when you don't feel like doing anything, and you do it anyway. Inspiration is unreliable. Discomfort is dependable. If you wait to feel ready, motivated, or confident, you will live below your potential forever. The people who separate themselves in life are not more talented. They are more willing to do hard things daily. Discomfort is not a punishment. It is a signal that you are growing. Training your body when it resists, focusing deeply when your mind wants distraction, and having uncomfortable conversations instead of avoiding them, this is how strength is formed. Weakness comes from avoidance. Every time you avoid a hard task, you train your brain to escape pressure. Every time you face it, you train resilience. And resilience compounds. High performers don't romanticize hard work. They schedule it. They choose one hard thing each day and treat it as non-negotiable. Not 10. Not everything. 1. Because consistency beats intensity. A daily practice of discomfort rewires your identity. Over time, what once felt hard becomes normal, and what once felt impossible becomes expected. Here is what you must do now. Identify one task you've been avoiding because it feels heavy, awkward, or demanding. Do it first, not later, not after warm-up tasks. First. And here is what you must stop doing immediately. Stop designing a life that avoids friction. A smooth life creates a weak mind. Pressure creates power. Repeat this until it becomes part of how you live. Hard today makes life easy tomorrow. Comfort today makes life hard later. Your future self is either thanking you or paying for your avoidance. Choose deliberately. You are becoming stronger through discomfort. Now it's time to protect that strength from being stolen by noise. You learned to do hard things. Now let's remove what destroys focus and discipline. Chapter 6. Eliminate distractions without mercy. Focus is no longer a soft skill. It is the real currency of 2026. In a world designed to steal your attention, the ability to concentrate deeply is a competitive advantage. Most people don't fail because they lack intelligence or opportunity. They fail because they live in permanent distraction. Notifications, scrolling, noise, and constant stimulation quietly destroy their capacity to think, execute, and finish what they start. High performers understand a brutal truth. Willpower is unreliable, but environment is permanent. That is why people who win don't argue with their distractions. They remove them. They control their phone. They control their workspace. They control what enters their mind. They don't leave focus to chance, they engineer it. Every alert you allow trains your brain to fragment. Every interruption weakens your ability to go deep. Here is what you must do immediately. Make your environment boring enough to support discipline. Turn off non-essential notifications. Create physical distance between you and your phone during deep work. Remove apps that feed stimulation without return. And here is what you must stop doing now. Stop telling yourself you can handle distractions. If you could, you already would have. Exposure creates dependency, not control. Repeat this until it becomes law in your life. What you allow to distract you will control you. Your future will be shaped by whatever holds your attention the longest. Guard it aggressively, because focus is not just about productivity. It is about identity. A focused person becomes reliable. A distracted person becomes replaceable. You have learned to protect your attention. Now it's time to raise the rules you live by. You remove distraction. Now let's talk about the standards that determine your results. Chapter 7. Raise your standards or stay average. Your life is not a reflection of what you want. It is a reflection of what you tolerate. Wishes are cheap. Standards are expensive. Most people live average lives not because they lack dreams, but because their standards are low. They accept inconsistent effort, weak routines, and half-finished work, then wonder why nothing changes. Outcomes do not respond to desire. They respond to standards. Elite performers understand this early. There are no low-effort days. There are hard days, tired days, and uncomfortable days. But the standard does not drop. They show up even when the output feels slower. They train even when energy is low. They execute even when motivation is absent. That consistency is not talent. It is a refusal to lower the bar. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Every time you accept less from yourself, you teach your mind what is acceptable. And what becomes acceptable becomes automatic. Standards create identity. If your standard is "I try when I feel like it," your results will always be unstable. If your standard is "I do what is required regardless of mood," your life stabilizes and improves. What you must do now is clear. Write down your non-negotiables. Sleep, work, training, focus. Decide the minimum standard you will not fall below. On your worst days, not your best. And here is what you must stop doing immediately. Stop confusing intensity with consistency. Extreme effort once a week does not compensate for low standards the rest of the time. Repeat this until it becomes law in your behavior. Your life rises or falls to your standards. Raise them quietly. Enforce them daily. Results will follow without needing motivation. You have raised the bar. Now you must control the internal world that tries to pull you back down. You upgraded your standards. Now let's master the mind that enforces them. Chapter 8. Control your mind before the world does. If you do not control your mind, the world will do it for you. News, people, pressure, and problems will dictate how you feel, how you react, and how you perform. Emotions unmanaged do not disappear. They become weapons used against you. Most people are not defeated by circumstances. They are defeated by their own reactions. The difference between average and elite performance is not intelligence. It is emotional control. Reacting is automatic. Responding is trained. Under pressure, reactive people rush, speak emotionally, and make decisions they regret. Controlled people pause, assess, and choose their response deliberately. That pause is power. That pause separates leaders from followers. High performers train calm the same way they train strength or focus. They don't suppress emotion, they manage it. They breathe before they speak. They slow their thoughts when stress accelerates. They refuse to let temporary feelings dictate permanent decisions. This is not weakness. This is command. Here is what you must do now. Practice emotional discipline daily in small moments. When irritated, pause. When challenged, slow down. When provoked, remain neutral. And here is what you must stop doing immediately. Stop justifying emotional reactions as being real. Being real without control makes you predictable, and predictability makes you vulnerable. Repeat this until it becomes instinct. A calm mind is a dangerous advantage. Calm allows clarity. Clarity allows correct action. And correct action compounds into dominance over time. You have gained control over your internal world. Now it's time to address the external forces shaping you daily. You mastered your mind. Now let's talk about the environments that either strengthen or weaken you. Chapter 9. Separate from weak environments, your environment is not neutral. It trains you every moment of every day, whether you notice it or not. Friends who complain, media that distracts, routines that undermine your focus, they all silently shape who you become. Most people are not failing because of lack of skill or willpower. They are failing because they live in weak environments. The world will pull you toward average if you let it. Understand this clearly. Proximity equals influence. The people, places, and inputs you surround yourself with dictate the ease of your success or the difficulty of your failure. If you spend time with unambitious people, you adopt unambitious thinking. If you scroll endlessly, your brain begins to crave distraction. If your space is cluttered, your decisions will be cluttered. Strength does not only come from discipline, it comes from isolation, from weakness. Here is what you must do now. Audit your environment ruthlessly. Identify the relationships, routines, and inputs that pull you backward. Reduce or remove them aggressively. Choose spaces and people that elevate your standards. Protect your mental and physical territory like it's your most valuable asset. And here is what you must stop doing immediately. Stop pretending weak environments are unavoidable. Nothing is more avoidable than the factors you allow to shape your behavior. Repeat this until it becomes instinct. Change your space, or it will change you. Strength in isolation builds clarity, energy, and purpose. Weakness in chaos steals time, focus, and momentum. Your environment either trains you for success or programs you for failure. The choice is not optional, it is mandatory. You have strengthened your internal control and now fortified your external world. The final step is to synthesize all of this into a powerful, visible transformation that ensures 2026 becomes the year of your best version. You separated from weakness. Now let's step fully into your transformation. Chapter 10. Enter 2026 like a different person. The final truth is simple but brutal. Transformation is not something you promise, it is something you show. Most people enter the new year with speeches, resolutions, and hopes, but nothing changes because their transformation is invisible. Preparation is silent. Results are loud. If you want 2026 to be the year you become your best version, you must act before the calendar flips, and act visibly before anyone notices. The world does not reward intention, it rewards execution. Understand this clearly. Everything you've done in the previous chapters, honest reflection, decisive action, cutting destructive habits, building identity, doing hard things daily, eliminating distractions, raising standards, controlling your mind, and separating from weakness, leads to this moment. The best version of you is not built in January. It is built in the weeks, months, and hours leading up to it. Your future self is a product of the preparation you do when no one is watching. Here is what you must do immediately. Take everything you've learned and make it unavoidable. Live the routines, demonstrate the identity, and enforce the standards that define your best version. Do not announce it. Do not wait for recognition. Act consistently and invisibly until the results speak louder than any promise you could make. And here is what you must stop doing now. Stop entering the new year hoping things will be different. Hope is a weak strategy. Discipline is a weapon. Repeat this until it becomes instinct. The new year rewards the prepared, not the hopeful. Visible transformation compounds faster than any plan or intention. The people who succeed in 2026 will be those who have already transformed quietly, consistently, relentlessly. This is your challenge. Enter the year as if nothing can stop you, as if failure is not an option, and as if your best version is no longer negotiable. You are ready. You are prepared. You are no longer the person from last year. 2026 will recognize your discipline, your identity, and your execution. Go and show it to the world. This is your transformation. This is your year.